Welcome back, Smite Draft League fans. We have a doozy for you today. We are in the Godlike Division Scouting Grounds. We've got Beetlejuice versus Terminator. I'm Cosmic Warrior, joined by my co-caster KingFsher. How you feeling today about this Godlike Division game, Fisher?
I'm feeling good. It's one of the first ones we've seen. I think we did cast one a few days ago, talked about how we'd like to see the elevated competition, see what the players can do with the new god changes, new builds. Definitely excited to see more of that. And no surprise at all, Magical ADC gonna be the first one off the board. Oleron and Freya, long gone. Oh, Soul 2, can we get the Chronos?
Oh, easily. I mean, these gods are absolutely insane, and just due to the high level of play, the high octane game that we tend to see in this godlike division, these absolutely insane game running gods are definitely the first to get off the board.
I know, I'd almost like to see at some point a team just say, we'll run with it and not ban any mage ADCs just to kind of see what team comps happen. But they're not going to take out the Chronos yet. It's going to be a Hebo instead. I'd imagine Beetlejuice doesn't want to ban Chronos here, maybe pick it. But instead, they take out the Thor, another jungler that's really seen a resurgence here in Season 10.
Definitely been seeing a lot of bans thrown at Thor. Very, very strong with the Bluestone, and Hebo can absolutely demolish people in the mid lane or the jungle. I think he tends to be a little bit more favored towards the jungle, but we won't be seeing him today. See if they decide to go for that Kronos ban, Kalina ban. That's interesting. Not one we see too much in some of the other divisions.
I would have to imagine that's a sort of target ban. I don't think we've even seen a clean abandon out in the second round of picks. And because of that, they are going to leave the Ao Kwang open. We've seen this pick prioritized really, really heavily in the jungle for obvious reasons. He feels great right now, not a lot slowing it down. But wonder what Terminator is going to respond with. Kronos is still on the board, as are a couple other good picks like the Fenrir. Hard to imagine we don't see one of those here.
Ao Kwang is just such a beast right now, running through ranked games, pretty much a permaban in every single one. He is just so hard to 1v1 in the jungle. Very good ganker with his mobility and invisibility. Not surprised to see him in the first pick.
Yeah, not at all. And now we are going to see a Kronos, but they're going to forego the Wolf for now. It's a Merlin. Another one of those mid picks that performs really well right now. We don't see him banned out a ton. Definitely, maybe not one of the top picks, but really still performing strongly. And I was surprised. I thought we would see a lot more Tablet Destiny with Merlin after it got buffed. I mean, he can just poke so easily. Getting that max mana off as true damage just really helpful, but still pretty close to the same build.
Definitely one of the mages I prefer to build tablet on, as you said. Very, very easy to stack it on. Now, Kukulin and Rama. We've seen a lot of Kukulin soloing in the other scouting ground games that we have watched. And Rama tends to be one of the more preferred hunters, as magical ADCs are just owning the meta right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen a few Poseidon magical ADCs, obviously, with all the other ones banned out. But Rama, it's a pick that RemarkableWolf likes a lot, played this pick a ton last season, still does it now, and obviously the Kokolin into the Guan Yu. That's a matchup we've seen a few times, and it's kind of been going both ways. Is there one of those gods that you think is going to have an advantage over the other?
I think both have their strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, with the passive that Kukulin has, he can get a lot of early pressure. He tends to get into that transformation by the time or before he even hits the wave, just due to the way that the buffs are being pulled. So I think a little earlier on, Colin might be a little stronger. Plus, he can build right into that contagion, which would hurt the Guan Yu, which is a very high prioritized item. So and even in the late game, I might tend to prefer the Colin. So that's maybe where I'm leaning, but I might be surprised.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kokolin's an aggressive pick, really kind of hard to get away from that. And now looking at the bans here in the second round, there's another few junglers taken off the board, Susano and Mercury. I felt like I said that weird, but no, Mercury, that's how you say his name. Been performing really well, but Susano haven't seen in a while. And a Emoji ban, another support that's kind of lost favor to Maui. So wondering if maybe we see a Maui here.
Yeah, Mercury definitely being prioritized. We've seen him in some of the scouting ground games, and Susano just being very, very good with Bluestone that we've seen in the jungle of all places, and the Kuzenbo, and it gets locked in. That one's definitely out of left field for me. What are you thinking about that one?
I mean, I can't say I was expecting it. Not someone we've talked about a whole ton. That being said, I believe I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I believe there was a buff on Kuzenbo, or at least some of the items that are very good on him. Should be able to proc Contagion pretty easily too now that it's back in the game. And there's the Maui. If it gets locked in, I mean, we talked about how good that pick is. With the Yuhuang too, the draft on the side of Beetlejuice is looking solid.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I definitely love Yu Huang in the mid lane. Definitely gonna give Merlin a run for his money. And we see Tsukiyomi being hovered, and that'll lock in and complete the draft for Terminator. This is gonna be an interesting one going in.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely a little bit less traditional than the other team's comp. But that being said, there's a lot of good. There's going to be a lot of setup CC for Merlin and Tsukiyomi to get dirty and get some damage. And the Chronos always just helps. But yeah, both teams looking really strong, really different as we head into game one.
Well, we'll have to see which team comes out on top in game one of the godlike scouting grounds. I'm Cosmic Warrior, once again joined by KingFsher. We'll see you shortly. And we're back. It's me, Cosmic Warrior, joined by KingFsher, getting right away into this game as we see laners finishing off their buffs, heading right into the lanes.
We were a little bit late getting in, but I don't think you needed to see everybody just soloing their camps again. But, I mean, I know I've been a little back and forth on the new camp changes, the draggable things. It's nice hitting level 2 before you get to wave, though. It opens up so many possibilities for aggression.
I'm definitely inclined to agree. You know, you just never really have to worry about it if you know, can get both abilities. You can get your wave clear and your dash very safe or aggressive depending on the style of god you're playing, depending on the playstyle you want. So definitely options, definitely different avenues you can take.
There are, and now we're going to see one of those options is Qeih trying to absolutely bully the Kukulin here. Not gonna work. Imagine building into Contagion first item. It still received a nerf, and it's still one of the best items you can build in solo. Just really speaks to how valuable that breastplate is.
Definitely. Quinn
Ooh.
does receive a little bit of poke. Still able to secure that totem for his team. So we see Jay getting aggressive. Picks up the first blood on Fragnick. And RemarkableWolf getting low. The shell forced out. He's low. He's one shot. He gets down. Tegveer picks up the return kill. But ChubbyOstrich isn't looking too healthy. Jayswervy gets 2 in the duo lane. Wow.
And there's the raw damage of the Alkwang really, really early on, just does a bunch. Tsukiyomi, though, good job getting the kill back. Have to think Wolf's dash, or rollout, rather, was down, otherwise may have lived to tell the tale. Oh, Dragoon trying to open it up onto Eevee.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
1 or 2 autos. Oh, not quite able to get it off. Wow, that was really close. Tegveer getting aggressive despite being low. Decides to back off. Doesn't look like he was able to get that buff. I don't know who ended up getting that one.
You can't really tell from up here, unfortunately, so we're just gonna have to use our imagination. I'd imagine that Kaizo or Remarkable has it right now. Akat's dropping really low, but the Guan Yu just gonna dash away, doesn't want to get any more aggressive. And now look, I think this is one of the first times we've seen this, where both of the supports are gonna be going for the new Prophetic Cloak starter. What do you think about that? Oh, might be some action.
Yeah, definitely some action as they try to get aggressive with the blue buff invade. Akat getting low, however, just barely dashing out. Tegveer hot on his tail though, but Qeih is getting low himself. Is he gonna be able to find the return kill? He just about has it, but he's getting low himself. Tegveer not letting him get away with it. Keeps it on going at Tegveer. Gets a double kill.
And what?
Holy cow. Oh! But here's Dragoon! Finds the return kill on the Qeih, and the dueling dragons not quite able to explode him. But oh, great rotation by Dragoon.
Tragic, I think, ended up pushing him further away, just out of the kill range. And what a play by the Tsukiyomi, brought so much utility there, keeping Guan Yu alive until the Jade Emperor came rotating in. But really, really solid play out of the jungle. 3-0 now, narrowly keeping his life there. But already impact all over the map. I feel like we've been talking about it, all scouting grounds, but junglers are spreading themselves out so well. And now Kaizo trying to get aggressive onto Fragnick. Gonna have to walk away. Early game Chronos still does a ton of damage.
Absolutely. It seems like, you know, meta has been being determined by just really how well you can hold that thought as Jay just in over his head at this green buff, getting jumped by 3 members of Terminator. What are you doing there, bud?
Yeah, a really unfortunate stepping up to that one. And now, Cullen ults really early, but Oath has a health advantage. Not going to use the ultimate. I would have thought Guan Yu would have gotten a little bit more aggressive there, but not the case.
Yeah, not quite, unfortunately. We see, you know, Tegveer on this Tsukiyomi is really just showing, said, oh, you're on Alkwang, the, like, one of the best, like, highest meta junglers? Well, I'm just going to go 3-0 on Tsukiyomi, just because I'm that guy. Tegveer is literally Himothy.
Definitely is looking really, really strong right now and lurking in the solo lane. Akat doesn't sense he's in danger. Tsukiyomi damage. Wow, gonna burst him down before Q's killed. Great gank.
Yeah, really, really on time. It was looking rough for Qeih there. His buddy able to bail him out. You know, Akat didn't step down. You know, he just committed to it, and you know that's kind of like the play style we see a lot of the better solo laners trying to do. Unfortunately, it does not work out that well for Akat this time.
And, you know, I don't hate him trying to stay there and fight it. I mean, he's facing a Tsukiyomi with an ultimate and a Guan Yu with an ultimate. There is just no getting out of that chase, so really well tries to get the Guan Yu down before he dies and just can't. Now Jayswervy lurking here in this left jungle. Kronos is gonna back. Oh, misses the purple. Oh, okay, he found it.
Ooh.
He was gonna miss it by seconds. Now, anything you can do to put Kronos behind early is definitely a good move right now.
And the one thing I think that can really separate, you know, higher level players from the lower level players is just, you know, how confident they are. You know, we saw Jay, get triple ganked on the green buff. But that's not gonna scare him away. He's still gonna invade your purple buff. He's still gonna get all in there. He's just not being swayed away.
Confidence is definitely key, like seeing players that aren't afraid to go for the riskier plays sometimes. There's definitely a time and place for anything, and I think now's the time to mention, we were right, it is Tablet Destiny's Merlin. I thought they were going to be building straight into Book of Thoth like normal.
Both people building Tablet of Destinies. Honestly, I like to build Tablet of Destinies first, just because it's a lot harder to stack than Book of Thoth. But I've actually seen some people just completely skip out on Book of Thoth and just go Tablet of Destinies in its place.
I don't know if that's a great idea looking at the builds, because I mean, it does scale off your max mana. I think for that reason, building it in tandem with the Book of Thoth, I mean, gives you over 1,000, I think, maybe over 1,200. I'm sure my math is wildly incorrect, but it gives you a lot of mana is the point. And the more you have, the more that true damage just keeps getting boosted, especially on Merlin. It's going to be beyond valuable. These tanks should stand no chance. Jayswervy might be in trouble in the jungle. Here comes Tsukiyomi.
Dashes away, dueling dragon, hits Tegveer. Jayswervy looking really low. CutestEevee finishes him off, and the tower dive with the Tsukiyomi barely escapes by the skin of his teeth. Landfall pulls in Cutie, and ChubbyOstrich taking tons of tower damage, but no return kills from Beetlejuice. Terminator gets a 1-for-0.
Really good kill by Terminator, although I do think I have to point out, I think it's CutestEevee, not CutestSteve.
I wasn't, all right, I was just looking at the kill thing, and it's like it's all capitalized, so I couldn't see the separation.
That's
all
fair.
right, my
That's
bad.
fair.
I'm sorry,
No.
Evie.
It's okay. I'm sure understandable, but yeah, doing really good in that fight. Now Merlin just completely sectioning off two players. Kaizo might be in a little bit over their head, but here comes Jayswervy. Not gonna find definite damage, and they're gonna have to walk away a little bit.
Yeah, just lots of aggression on Beetlejuice. Again, despite being behind a little bit, it's not slowing them down. They're still wanting to get in. They're still gonna hook the Merlin, who's under tower. Absolutely no fear. They're gonna invade your buffs. They're just not backing down.
And I really like seeing that. I mean, the majority of the lead right now for Terminator is in that mid lane. He's a level up, even though the Tsukiyomi has 4 kills, still even in levels. Support's a little bit behind, so I think Tegveer can definitely benefit themselves by spreading them out more around the map right now. I mean, the Merlin's got a lead. Now you got to help something like the Chronos, who we've already seen Beetlejuice pick on a little bit in this match.
Yeah, but I think the biggest target right now, at least the highest priority, is definitely to Tegveer on this Tsukiyomi. I mean, he is 4-0. He is absolutely huge right now. That would be a very big shutdown kill for whichever member of the Beetlejuice finally finishes him off.
Ooh, and speaking of finishing off, they're looking for CutestEevee again. Not going to be able to find any damage, and now it's a 2-level lead for the Merlin. Doesn't seem like much this early on. Finding some good damage onto Dragoon up into the skies, about half HP.
Some very nice poke coming out of Terminator.
Very good indeed. And now it does look like we were right. Both mid laners going to be building into the Book of Thoth again after this tablet. Should be interesting seeing what they're doing. And Kronos is going a defense item. I have not seen that yet on a Kronos ADC.
Yeah, not particularly. I've seen it on Kronos ADC. I have seen it on some damagers. I've seen it on some jungles building it a Stone of Binding just because it has really good prod shred and great both defenses, allowing you to get extra aggressive. So it's going to be interesting. We've seen aggressive Cronoses before. We've seen people building Blink on Kronos. Maybe that's the type of play style Fragnick wants to go for. But ooh, Akat looking like he's in the deep end as his health bar is slowly going down. Q finishes him off. It's the last hit.
Not much chance at survival there. 3 players in right and no wards from either team, notably on that right side. Now they're going for a gank onto Fragnick. Are they going to be able to get away? Misses the cripple.
Beautiful hook by Kaizo, forcing out the Chronoso, but he's still in danger as he comes out right on the side of Beetlejuice. Bede's forced as well. Kaizo, here comes the landfall. Beautiful hit by Kaizo. Fragnick slowly going down, and RemarkableWolf finishes him off. But here's Here's Tegveer, but he gets stunned out. Beats Force. Here's Jayswervy. Tegveer goes down. Jayswervy gets the big bounty on the Tsukiyomi. Kaizo looking a little low, but they're still 3 strong. Now 4. ChubbyOstrich in over his head as the dueling dragons come out, but it looks like RemarkableWolf will finish him off.
What a fight from Beetlejuice. That was miles better than anything we've seen that game. Perfectly combined Remarkable and Kaizo with a really good pick onto the Kronos at first and the rest of the team helping to follow up. And now the Gold Fury being taken for a little ride.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen this sort of, dragging it around. That way you can avoid taking any damage from it. Very high level of play that we see that in. I mean, that was just beautiful by Beetlejuice overall. And the Tsukiyomi kill went exactly who you wanted it to go to. Jayswervy, you want your Alkwang to be as fed as possible. So it's very beautiful. Shifting the gold and XP difference just back into their favor very slightly. Definitely still anybody's game at this point.
Anybody's game indeed, and I think even looking back at builds we completely skipped over, we were so focused on the Stone Abiding Kronos that we missed Rama's start. It's definitely not meta has opted to go into the Aussie and the Devourer's Gauntlet. Aussie's a great item right now, provides insane stats, a really good passive, but we haven't seen a ton of Devo's Gauntlet, but I don't hate this on somebody like Rama, still a good item. Qeih going to be forced out with a blink, secures one of the oracles though, so no vision on gold for Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Devourers is a really good item for Rama, but as you said, it's not super meta. Most people build it right into Aussie. Kaizo forced to leap away. Dueling Dragons doesn't find anybody. Just a bit of a slugfest here in the mid lane as we see Terminator about 4 strong, looking like they want to pull this Pyro as soon as it spawns.
It's going to be an interesting call. Pyro should be up really soon. In fact, it spawns right there. Wow, that was a very precise estimate by me. Now Akat's looking at it. I don't know if I love this call. Maui still has landfall. There's a Kukulin right here. This is definitely not a sure thing, and now they're going to turn to the fight.
Ooh, and we see a big double knockup by Akat. And ChubbyOstrich getting low. Forced to ult. Trying to avoid that execute, but Jayswervy looking low himself, finishing him off. But Dragoon finishes off ChubbyOstrich. Now, Qeih getting low as well. And Tegveer still in the backline, but Akat getting in there, finishes off CutestEevee. And now Tsukiyomi is left running. Is Kaizo chasing him? Dragoon coming in, but in the mid lane, Akat gets dropped, but so does Tsukiyomi. Wow, that was quite a fight. Lots of people dying on either side. Who do you think's the big winner in that fight?
I think ultimately Beetlejuice comes out on top. I mean, they do still have 2 members standing after that fight instead of 1, but when we look past that, the introduction to that fight, it was a beautiful blink knockup by the Kukulin. Oh wait, sorry, no, not a blink, just a really big knockup by Kukulin. A really good landfall with Maui, just developing a ton of chemistry. And that's something we've been talking about all scouting grounds. These players are playing together for the first time, and to see them all be really in tune like that is definitely a good sight to potential captains, seeing how well these guys gel. And now, both the ADCs still just AFK farming. You gotta love it.
That is the name of the game if you're an ADC. And yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree with you. And honestly, if you look at Kukulin's KD, you might think, wow, he's not doing too good. But despite this, he's definitely had a lot of impact overall in the game. Still one of the highest damage dealers on his team. And, still really good pressure being afforded by this Kukulin pick.
Akat's been doing really good, yeah. I think, like you said, the 4 deaths don't really sell it, but he's been so effective in diving into the backlines that it's just allowing for Kaizo to keep the carries alive longer. I mean, no deaths on the support, no deaths on the mid, only 1 on the ADC. The team is flowing right now, and they're coming up better in these team fights because of it. Now, they do have about 1,000 gold lead. 16 minutes in, though, if I'm Terminator, I wouldn't be worried about that. And it's such an even map state. Definitely not used to seeing this. Aggression onto Ostrich.
Yeah, forces ults. Dueling Dragons gets dropped. And Jay gets the execute. Very well played by Beetlejuice. ChubbyOstrich overstepping just a little bit. Gets caught out.
Very unfortunate for ChubbyOstrich. Thought they were going to get away for a little bit there with the CC immunity, but unfortunately cut up to and one
Oh,
minute
here's Akat.
left.
There's the blink in. Good knock up on the Eevee, but not enough follow-up damage. He is safe under that tower.
Ultimately going to be safe. Can't say the same for Qeih, though. The Guan Yu in a lot of trouble. Going to have to ult out. Not ulting?
Oh, unfortunate mistiming of the bees by T. The ults in. He's not afraid. Picks up one before he gets shut down by Dragoonx. But the fight is not over. Caught still in the backline, but ChubbyOstrich makes her way back in. Beautiful triple stun by Kaizo, but his demise came quickly after as Fragnick picks up a double kill.
And both teams there, the carry's doing so well. The backliners from both teams walk out of that fight pretty much unfazed. One set of beads between relics. Great.
Oh, Dragoon forced away. Oh, picks up a kill before he is ultimately shut down, unfortunately for him. But wow, they were able to pull them off the Gold Fury for the time being. Are they going to try and pick it back up? Doesn't look like it. Wasn't too bad of a play by Beetlejuice getting a 1-for-1 and preventing them from taking that Gold Fury just in that little mini fight after the team fight we had.
And I just gotta point out the microplay there. RemarkableWolf ultimately didn't matter as Dragoon died, but rolled in, got the cripple onto the Kuzumbo the second he tried pulling the Yu Huang away. Really good play by Remarkable, and then traded out after. So great play from Beetlejuice. Still probably wouldn't have wanted to die for that one, but they're still gonna stay... Oh no, sorry, they're not gonna stay ahead in gold. They lose out a little bit. Uh-oh, tide's turning for Terminator. 100 gold is a death sentence.
Yeah, definitely not the end of the world, though, for Beetlejuice. They can definitely come back into this very quickly. We've seen team fights go both ways very decisively, and I think ultimately it's just going to come around who's able to secure these objectives better and who's really able to play the map to the highest capability.
And I'd really expect the players up here to do just that. I feel like it's a high kill game, but none of these have been kills for the sake of kills. They've all revolved around important ganks, a lot around objectives, as we just saw, important timings. We're seeing a lot less of the kill chasing just so you can have a man advantage for a few seconds. Now it's going to be a 3-on-3 here. Kokolin's missing. Terminator have the advantage going into this fight. They need to start it right now if they want to.
It's quickly going to become 5-man grouping by Terminator. They do spot out Qeih's a little bit separated, but he is in no trouble at all as we finally see Akat teleporting in this fight.
Gonna see what the Kokolin can do now. Much more even footing, and Terminator might be a little bit put off. They're gonna be backing up. I think Kaizo still wants to go in here. Oni Fury is up. Not deciding to pull it though. These teams are a lot more spread out than I would think, given how this game's been going. Expect to see a lot more actual contention of the Oni Fury.
You know, I gotta say, you know, from this point of view, you can really see how greedy Gold Fury is. I mean, look at all the gold that this guy's just chilling with.
I mean, that bounty would give any team an advantage, and now Beetlejuice are going to be the ones to pull it. To see how Terminator steps up, they're going to be way too late, though. Is there going to be a fight to follow?
Quickly dropping that Gold Fury with absolutely no contention by Terminator. Finally, they weren't too happy about it. Beautiful dueling dragons by Dragoon. Finds 2. Kaizo getting low, however. Dragoon forced to escape. Hands on top of ChubbyOstrich, and Kaizo stuns out too, but it's health bar not looking too hot. Jay finds the execute, but cute Steve finishes off Kaizo very soon after, and Dragoon. Both mid laners falling. The CG falls just after Dragoon does. RemarkableWolf forced his relics as we see Fragnick bolting to safety. Hopefully, we see him stunning out Jay, but he's able to beads it. Both junglers with low health bars and Qeih low in the back as well. But now it's not looking too great for RemarkableWolf. He's got no relics left. Fighting to his last breath. Finally gets shut down by Fragnick.
And I think this is definitely the time for Beetlejuice to disengage. Unfortunate that RemarkableWolf got caught out there, and maybe a slight bit of miscommunication on what target they were going on. But results still the same. Another really, really even fight. The Beetlejuice now, they have another 1,000 gold lead. But it's 21 minutes in. I don't think that matters as much as it would have a few minutes ago. But now, Pyro and Fire Giant are sure to be the next objectives. But a lot of the towers are still standing. Do you think they're going to try to get some tower sieging in? Or some deicides before they push onto those objectives? Or is that going to be the next focus?
Well, the beautiful thing is with the new Pyromancer, there's a nice cheeky little bomb that drops that does like 1,000 true damage to towers. So I think that would definitely help them out. Before opting to just siege 5 man, they're definitely going to want some sort of advantage going into it. Otherwise, it's just way too close for either team to really feel powerful enough to start sieging at this point. I do see
It
Pyro getting pulled.
should be interesting to see, and I think, like you said, Pyro is going to be the first objective. They all want that bomb, and it's going to go down uncontested to Beetlejuice. They don't... Okay, Kaizo went back and got it.
Of course, you see ChubbyOstrich getting pulled in, but he's not afraid. He's dashing aggressively and getting dropped down to about half HP, but Jay in the backline just gets exploded. Oh my gosh. Health bars aren't looking too great for Terminator, but they're up a player. Actually, Fragnick opting to go for the split push onto the tier 2 and left. Here comes Qeih, dealing damage on Kaizo, but not looking too hot as Akat teleports, trying to defend his tier 2 tower, doesn't make it. It drops before he's able to get it, and Qeih takes the opportunity to cavalry charge in, but Akat blinks in, finds nobody. But the Qeih dropping low, Dueling Dragon's not quite on the mark, neither is Landfall, but a RemarkableWolf with a beautiful snipes on its backline. Finally, someone hits him. It's ChubbyOstrich falls not long after. It's a double kill for the ADC of Beetlejuice.
Great fight from Beetlejuice, but on the flip side, ChubbyOstrich not having the
Oh,
greatest stat plays game. Oh,
that's
wow,
Phoenix. The whole
Great
fight.
split push.
Oh,
Oh,
no way!
wow. I mean, that's certainly something.
That is
I think
devastating for Jay.
that really distracted me. I was gonna say ChubbyOstrich did a really good job at the tail end of that fight, segmenting it up and making it so Beetlejuice couldn't push down mid, applying a lot of CC. Now, because he's down, they are not gonna have a tank here in time to step up. They're on their way, but this is a really slow burn of fire.
It really is. They're definitely going to get here in time. Akat trying to hold him off, but can't hold every single one of them off. Fragnick deep into the depths of the Fire Giant pit, and so is Qeih. But all the health bars of Beetlejuice going low. Jayswervy trades out his life, and Akat falls not long after, as we see Evie into the backline. RemarkableWolf, remarkably low, finished off by Evie. As we see Dueling Dragons pushing Ostrich away, trying to peel for himself as Teague gets the triple kill, and they're finishing off Dragoon, and that is a quadra kill for Teague and a deicide for Terminator. Holy wow. They're going for Titan, they're going for Throne. This might be game 1 right here.
And I love this call. They got at least 20 seconds until anyone that can do a lot of damage comes back up. They're not even going to need 10. The Titan falling under half. Is this going to be the end for Terminator? It should be.
Caught up in 3, but this health bar is dropping very quickly, and that is game number 1 in favor of Terminator. Oh my lord, that was such an insane game at all parts. Just action, action, action. Neither team putting their foot on the brakes. It was just go, go, go at any point, and it led to a very quick victory.
Let me tell you, I was not ready for that fight, the end that followed. Really great play calling coming out of Terminator, because admittedly, they were never really too behind, but I don't think they were in the lead for any of that game until one disastrous fight from Beetlejuice causes that to happen. And wow, okay, so just to put this in perspective, Kronos had 6,200 structure damage, the rest of the lobby had 160.
That is crazy. That is actually
Wow.
crazy.
You love to see that if you're an ADC fan.
That's I mean, he just decided to split push that left tier 2, then turned it into a Phoenix. I didn't even realize. He was able to back by the skin of his teeth. Then goes to the Fire Giant, wins the team fight, and uses that opening to go finish the Titan. That was insane.
I mean, an unsung performance, but a really, really strong one from Fragnick there. Honestly, from all these players, I don't think the KDA lines do any of them justice. Some incredible team fighting and incredible peel from both supports, I think, is what impressed me the most. Definitely wouldn't know it, especially looking at Ostrich's stat line, but was instrumental in that win. A lot of those team fights revolved around him, keeping CutestEevee alive.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, but I mean, if this game is anything to show about this set, then you're not gonna want to miss game number 2. It's been Cosmic Warrior joined by KingFsher. Don't go anywhere.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the new song. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I'm bad enough to see. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are have-nots, who are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I'm bad enough to see. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are have-nots, who are not as tough as me.
Hello everyone, welcome on back to this amazing Scouting Grounds match here. We are here for Game 2, my name's Deelo, I'm joined here by still KingFsher, just a little bit of a mix-up here as we get into this Game 2, and a little bit of mix-up as well on the sides here. You might see that the Terminators are now switched to the side of Order, and we have our antagonists on the side of Chaos. We are joined by instead the, oh my god, I'm blanking on the name, KingFsher, help me out here, who we got?
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is
There
the
it is.
chaos side.
Don't say it a third time, man. Don't say it a third time. But yes, we have that team. Exactly. Thank you. KingFsher, how are we feeling going in Game 2, man?
I mean, feeling good. Terminator, I don't know how much they're going to change their draft up because even though they won that game, a lot of the game we were kind of looking towards Beetlejuice as being the ones pushing the tempo, making a lot of the fights happen. So it's really going to be interesting for me to see if they want to change up their strategy, maybe go with some more early game oriented gods to try and stop that from happening here.
We're seeing, well, honestly, as far as early games gods going, it's going quite the same pace and tempo as far as the bans go, as we saw in the first game here. And I'd say that makes sense. I mean, those hyper carries can definitely be quite the sore thorn in your side, so understandable, but would be interesting to see some different stuff. Ymir, huh. All right, there you go. Like you're saying, man, early game god picked out. We're removing him from the, and I was about to say removing him from the fray, but instead we're adding him to the fray, Freya. What are our thoughts on that pick?
I definitely like the pick. I think that Beetlejuice did a good job banning out the Chronos. I mean, obviously, Nick looked really, really good on that pick last game, but now they're going to go right back to another Mage ADC, and arguably one that can carry even harder from the late game as long as they can get there. The Freya, it's a great pick. Nothing else
Absolutely.
to say about that.
No, she's a force to be reckoned with. Just strikes the fear of God into people, when, whether she's, in the air or on the ground. She's sending in AoE little bolts into your team, and you're all scattering. A decent amount of, soft CC applied there with the slows, especially when there's all these cramped corridors. The jungle being so dense now, all these cramped fights where everyone's packed together, that Irradiate can be devastating, as well as the pulse that she sends out from her sword. But on the side of Beetlejuice, we see locked in. We got Thor and Merlin.
Yeah, and I do like seeing these picks locked in. We saw Merlin on CutestEevee last game, so definitely like the plan from Beetlejuice to take that one away. Merlin performs very well right now, and we did see the Thor banned out last time, but they forego the Oleron, the only Mage ADC left in the pool. I'd like to see them pick that up. Third, I still think Mage ADCs right now, far and away the best gods in the game.
Absolutely. There's no sense in shirking away what we know is meta right now. You got nothing to prove here. We're trying to win games. We're trying to make sure we're making a name for ourselves here in the scouting ground. So understandable to try to go for what and lean into what we know works. And if, that bridge ain't broke, why try to fix it? But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some hopefully more unorthodox picks. Yeah, and there we go. Chiron there locked in side of Terminator. So looking forward to seeing, we're having some pretty strong auto attack gods here. So perhaps some potential counterplay in the picks on the side of Beetlejuice going forward.
That should be a Chiron mid. I mean, Freya is a mage, but normally doesn't perform too well in the mid lane, especially being poked out so easily by that Merlin. But seeing Chiron here in the mid, I think it's a lot better matchup into that Merlin. Still waiting on what else is going to be the pick here. I think last time they left the Maui until after the top 3, right?
I believe so. Recalling what happened with those first picks of Mans, yes, I believe Maui was actually reserved for the back end. So it seems like we're looking for our damage dealers first. And oh, well then, seems like we're having a little bit of a change of pace there, as Sobek is not locked in for Nick at the moment. Interesting pick. There are going to be some high CC setup here with the kickbacks provided by both Chiron and Sobek. I'm liking this pick, honestly.
And I had to open my mouth about waiting on the support, and of course they are going to pick the support in the top 3. And I definitely like this pick. I don't know how well it stacks up to something like the Maui that they had last game, who I still think is by far and away the best support right now, but it's definitely still a strong one. Going into Bologna as well, there's not much CC immunity from this team to get away from those plucks right now.
What I am liking, though, I will say about the Bologna, you're absolutely correct that those plucks are going to be risky, as far as the other team needing to make sure that they're positioning themselves properly to not get thrown right back into the sides of the Terminators. But what I do like about Bologna, as I was saying, heavy auto attack picks right now on the side of the Terminators, and that Bologna Scourge is going to do a great job at shutting that down for just a few seconds, can be absolutely key. Of course, Freya's kit, so reliant on getting that auto damage off, and if you shut her down for a couple seconds, that's her doing absolutely nothing.
I agree. Freya should absolutely be the target. I mean, if you're able to disarm Chiron, that's cool. He can still use all his abilities. He can dash away. He can go into Centaurus and still get damage off. If you do that to Freya, she literally has zero things she can do, except for maybe send you up into the air. So
Or send
definitely
herself.
should be the target and be interested to see. I think Akat definitely gonna have to build a lot of magic defense.
I like them recognizing that, though. Obviously, this Bologna, we're not something that we've seen super often in the past metas, but I like that we're recognizing Frey is a threat. We got to do something more than just play well to make sure that she's not a factor in this game. So countering her specifically, I think makes a lot of sense. And as we see here, Jayswervy locking in with the Rama, obviously going to be switched out there. We imagine not quite a jungle pick, but a good pick there overall. As we talked about last game, Rama in this meta dominated by Mage EDC still performs rather well.
Definitely does. I don't know if I like the Rama as much into this matchup specifically because Freya in a team fight just does more than Rama. Rama does insane damage, really consistent damage, but the AoEs are going to have a much larger
Absolutely.
impact than RemarkableWolf is able to. And granted, he did really good last game, but I'd be a little bit concerned about bringing the same pressure that Nick is going to on that Freya.
As we see the final picks here locked in, we see that Tegveer locked in on the Achilles, and we see Q with the Shiva. I'm liking the front line that we have here on the Terminator side. Some decent initiation. Obviously, Ostrich is going to have to really make sure to position well, because as you know, all of Sobek's initiation, unless you're going off Blink, which is definitely a good possibility, but you're initiating yourself. You're throwing yourself into the team fight, and if you miss that pluck, you've essentially given your team a free dash into their ranks, which is essentially a free kill. So I'm looking to see him really carefully positioning himself. We saw his amazing peel jobs in the prior game, but he's going to have to be careful because he did die a lot. And, you don't want to be feeding that, especially to some of the powerhouses that we have here. Jayswervy potentially on the hands of that Thor, able to really snowball something in the early game. So he's got to make sure that whatever plucks he's doing, he's choosing carefully.
Definitely gonna have to be a little bit more selective with the targets, and Emoji will be the one on the other side to try and counter that. But enough of that. That's gonna do it for us on picks and bans. We will see you back in game for match number 2.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking.
And welcome on back, everyone, here in this godlike division of the Smite Draft League. We're here for Game 2. Once again, I am Deelo, joined here by KingFsher. We're going to start unleashing up these buffs. Now, just looking at these comps in general here, I'm thinking of the word of the day being anti-heal. And how are we going to be interplaying here?
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how these players itemize, and I think already a lot of anti-heal items this season are a lot stronger than they were last. Divine Ruin is absolutely broken in the mid lane, Contagion is really popular right now, and even Brawler's Beatstick's still seeing some really good stats out of the jungle, so I definitely think both these teams are equipped to deal with it. It's just going to be a matter of how well they're able to do.
Absolutely, and also a matter of, when you decide to go with that. If you decide to forego that, for me, that big power spike, if you're really feeling yourself and you're not feeling the healing's a big issue, or if you're deciding, no, I gotta get that sustain off the ground here, making a non-factor. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out in the interplay here, but as we see here, some clear wars going on in the back here. Not gonna be anything too interesting going on, but what I am interested in here is this little war going on in the solo lane, some aggressive play here, as everyone poking each other out, getting a bit low there, my good friend. So we'll see how it goes on here. What are we thinking about the solo matchup between our Shiva and our Bellona?
I think intrinsically it should just favor Shiva. Doesn't rely a whole ton on auto attacks and can find some serious ability damage. And that being said, Bellona not going a typical build. We normally see Bellonas go to the Death's Toll, maybe an Aussie early, but it looks like it's warding Sigil and straight into what I would assume is Berserker Shield. CutestEevee getting some attention. They go on Jayswervy.
Blink in there, gonna be a blizzard dropped onto it. He's staying in there, gonna be able to retreat out. Oh, nearly drawn out, but he actually does manage to get it. Dragoon fishing it out, managing to stick with it, committing to it, and being rewarded with the first blood. Excellent job there, not getting dejected despite, being low mana, low health. It looks like we're not done here yet. Dashing back in, Chiron is, and he's going to be rewarded with it. CutestEevee trying to get that level up so they can get that, next evolution, and racking up another kill for the Terminators, evening up to a 1-1. Obviously, the first blood going the way of Beetlejuice, but you want to make sure that, you're leaving that kill avenged. So excellent job there to commit back to the bit.
Definitely a good job, especially taking Merlin away from that mid lane for so long. Unfortunately allows him to get tier 2 of the book as Kaizo being looked at here and left. However, Freya cannot auto attack for long enough to do any substantial damage. Hey, but it's back up for the wave. That's all that matters.
There it is. Good little glass half full perspective there, but very good point there on the Merlin returning, with the here to the book. Always got to remember, yes, an early kill is great on your enemy laner, but you have to keep in mind that they're itemizing while they're going back, so you can't be playing mega aggressive, because sure, you might have to level up, but they have that gold in their pocket they've been spending wisely, so you have to make sure you're playing it wisely. But speaking of, you gotta make sure that good friend is not being ganked, and unfortunately, it seems like he might be falling quite soon, but no, the final auto does not land. Q, unfortunate there. As we said, Shiva not quite the auto attack god, and it's proving itself right there. It seems like Tegveer trying to get something going on of his own, not quite able to get the gank, but the double tap is going to land quite a bit of damage on top of the Berserker's Barrage, apologies. Yikes, and he's still in hot pursuit. Jayswervy putting on the moves right now. He says, I'm still here, you guys. You realize that, right? Double tap right in. Berserker's Barrage once again doing quite a hefty bit of damage, and Q's got to get out. What are you sticking around for? The knockup's not going to do much, and he gets tapped there and taken out. Big tower shot, though, going to do quite a bit of damage. The rotation over mid, Tegveer going to pick up Jayswervy, and it seems like without any mana, we can't really do much. CutestEevee going to have to just retreat on back with nothing.
And a great turnaround there by the Achilles to ultimately shut the Thor down. Really unfortunate for Jayswervy walking into the tower. But that whole interaction there on right side was really drawn out. Oh, and a big Ymojo going to separate the ADCs, but Nick taking the worst side of this bargain.
Looking on out of there saying, yeah, you're not part of this fight anymore. Nice, excellent job with the beads there. Ooh, the bubble blast and the Rob. Oh, nicely done. The snipes are able to secure that for RemarkableWolf, and Nick will fall. Unfortunately, ChubbyOstrich is just going to have to go back and lick his wounds without his carry to support anymore. And it seems like, Q looking to be a bit more danger once again. Just going to camp under the tower, though. Wisely done. No sense in, trying to fight Bellona. She is a known lane bully.
Definitely is, and especially with Q building into the Soul Reaver first item, and the Warrior's Axe not going to have very much protections at all. I think going back to that duo fight, I was really worried at first. I thought Kaizo would just misplace the ultimate, but that ult's on point. Good stun on to Chiron. Able to dash away though.
A beautiful wall there to force out some bit more abilities from ChubbyOstrich. Going to be able to get away with that tail whip just fine. Bit of health on him. And of course the sustains. He's going to Sickening Strike right there. Get some more health up on there. So they're doing just fine over in the middle lane, but a bit of engagement going on there. I'm looking to see Jayswervy get some big... I've seen Thor put in some work in these Scouting Ground games, and I really love to see a big snowball from him. So I'm liking to see this aggressive play from him. These double taps are doing huge dividends to the enemy team right now.
And we saw how impactful he was on the Ao Kuang last game, not able to translate it into a win, but hopefully this Thor should have a lot more impact. Ao Kuang, a very single target focused character. Meanwhile, Thor able to spread the CC, the damage all around in the middle of fights. So definitely would look to see Beetlejuice play off of that one a little bit more this game. Looking for Kaizo again, but still securely in his own jungle. So it shouldn't see any harm, and it stalled out a little bit 5 minutes in, but the Dragoon is going to be the target. Pluck off the mark.
Big aggressive pluck there, but not going to quite get anything off it, but still nicely done. The damage is still good from CutestEevee. ChubbyOstrich is going to use that ult, lurking in the water, is going to come up back for a little bite, but oh, it might have been the death of him there, not realizing Jayswervy lurking in the back, going to teleport in and grab that nice quick kill for himself. Meanwhile, in the right lane, though, oh no, solo Tegveer going to pick up Akat, and that is another kill dished out, 1 for 1, technically, across the two sides, but the Anvil of Dawn is down, the hammer is down, the wall is down, the damage is good, but not quite enough, and the execute is off Tegveer, managing to secure that kill, save Q. Just unfortunately, if that Anvil of Dawn had landed, that would have been quite enough damage for Q to go down, but not exactly the case. Left side, meanwhile, Rama's going up, everyone's going up, and it looks like he's trying to send him down to the fountain there, but not quite enough, and excellent job from Nick, able to pick up the kill, just unfortunately not hitting those skill shots that just came down to that, and that's what's going to be the end for him. Wow, quite a lot of impact across all the lanes. I'm loving to see this constant scrapping.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see, and RemarkableWolf gets caught out on the wrong side of duo lane there. And the junglers across the map, both finding really good ganks, counter ganks, everything. And I know game one we talked about these teams, they were a lot more objective focused, push focused, and we've seen not really relying on kills. Definitely not the case this game, as all of them trying to lobby a little XP, little gold advantage. Right now that sits with the Terminators at about 300 gold, so not making too much of a difference yet.
Absolutely. It's just been some nice constant back and forth scrapping, and speaking of, another pluck going in there, not going to get quite too much damage off it though, unfortunately. I'm actually surprised that we had the dash out there from CutestEevee, just maybe recognizing that not enough damage quite on board there, but seemed to abandon that fight a little bit too early for the nice pluck that had, you know, set that opponent on the silver platter for him, but maybe deciding, you know, we'll get him later.
Definitely. I mean, later still an option. There's a lot of time left in this game. It was seen. Now Nick's just going to be clearing the wave, and I think that damage from Freya is starting to stack up. RemarkableWolf wants absolutely no part of it after that earlier death. Now the attention going to be turned to the Bastions. Unfortunately, not going to give a ton of gold to keep that gap going.
Absolutely, and I am interested. So we were talking about, of course, the team fight potential that... Oh, wait, hold on a second. There's a team fight going on in the back. Rivers Rebuke knocked out, but not going to be quite enough. Unfortunately, CutestEevee going to take out the Emoja for Beetlejuice. That is an unfortunate drop there. But, you know, it happens. Honestly, if you're going to lose anyone, you're going to lose the support. Not quite the worst loss there. We can keep on going to farming. But I was going to mention there, we were talking about the team fight potential there between the Freya, but as we look into just this solo well, not solo v solo, but the solo kill potential between our two carries here, how are we feeling they're going to stack up here, the Rom versus the Freya?
I definitely think, I mean, both of these gods are late game gods. That being said, Freya is, in my opinion, one of the best late game gods. It's just so much damage per auto. We did see last game RemarkableWolf did start to build into crit. But I think we talked about earlier, the AoE, the teamfight presence, is Akat going to be removed from that presence? Maybe. Can the execute land?
Seems like he doesn't have quite enough faith in it yet, and he's trying to dash back in, but now he's got the damage going in for it. It looks like, oh no, it might have been an unfortunate mistake there by Q to redirect his attention to the behind the tower line, because that had required a quick flick of the switch there that risked it not move quite fast enough. Unfortunately, a bit of whiplash there for Tegveer. Is he going to be able to get out? Oh no, the ring. Oh, but he's got support there coming in the form of ChubbyOstrich. Good job making sure his teammate was well supported there, knowing that, hey, he's going to maybe need some help there. His 3 members are in chase. But it looks like he's going to get out. An unfortunate, though, failed gank there on the side of Terminator. They're going to have to try again.
Yeah, now we see RemarkableWolf dropped really, really low in a fight again. That is beyond unfortunate. I do think Q accidentally pulled them out of Tegveer's range. Really hate to see it, but it also might have been a Thor block. We did see Jayswervy crashing down into the middle of that one. But that being said, I want to take a more in-depth look at the builds. We're seeing the same build from Rama again, and Tablet Destinies again on Merlin. Given that these two mid laners are going to be so different, do you think there's going to be much more of an impact one has than the other?
Well, we're definitely, I mean, already Chiron's fully stacked with that Transcendence. So, you know, their power spike's already been hit. Merlin going to be taking a bit more time and hopefully recognizing that, maybe realizing, okay, I got to wait for my damage to come a bit more online. Chiron, though, can play a bit more safe, of course, with the natural sustain also built into his kit. So I would be hoping that we'd be keeping that in mind on the side of Dragoon, but who knows, maybe he decided to just, you know, go full in deep, trying to make something happen early, but I'd imagine you're going to be playing a bit more conservatively for that reason.
Definitely should, and I mean, I know we talk a lot about objective pressure. Normally, one team having an ADC and a mage ADC give them the advantage. But Rama's Fire Stance does a lot. Is it going to be enough damage here? No, he didn't.
No, the intimidation factor from Tegveer, just dashing in is enough. He's already got a reputation for himself. No one wants to get executed right now.
Definitely not, especially after the, what was it, 12-3, 12-4 game last time?
Yeah, they saw the quadra, they were like, this man's feeling himself, we gotta get out of here right now. And you know, there's something to be said about that. That momentum is crazy. You get that quadra, you hear that announcer screaming, you feel good, man. And going into this game, when you're the opponent team receiving that quadra, you feel bad. But you might be feeling bad right now if you're caught in this River Rebuke. That is not good. ChubbyOstrich has nothing to do but watches his teammate as the waves crash down on him. Unfortunate to execute, maybe pulled off a bit too early. They're no within threshold now, but the arrow is nicely done from CutestEevee, holding on to that, knowing that someone might get out of range, but those arrows, once you're marked, they can find you anywhere, picking up the kill. But it looks like we have a lurker here. Jayswervy trying to get the double tap, but meanwhile, Fragnick is able to actually pick up a kill of his own. Q getting his own kill on a Jayswervy, sticking around a bit too long there. I respect the attempt, but it didn't quite work out.
And a really, really strong fight from Terminator again. This Gold Fury should go down, no problem. RemarkableWolf does have ultimate, but I think people discredit how hard that Rama ult is to steal objectives with.
He's gonna try to prove you wrong right now, though. Let's see it. Oh, no, not quite. I got excited.
I mean, granted, was very, very close there, but ultimately not able to pull that one off. And that's the magic of having two ADCs on your team. I mean, that Gold Fury was melted. We saw a lot of problems last game. I think it was maybe with the Fire Giant staying up, honestly, a lot longer than it should have. So definitely not going to be the case this game. Both teams into this late game are going to have a really easy transition and a good alley into those team fights.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, Rom ult meant for securing kills, not meant for securing objectives, unfortunately. But the first Gold Fury are going to go the way of Beetlejuice, and that is going to be quite solid for them, honestly. They're going to be... Oh, sorry, the side of Terminator, apologies. And that's going to be solid for them. Just lengthen that gold lead. Let's see if we can maybe lengthen the kill lead here, as we see the dive in with the Animal Dawn, but quite a bit of damage poured on. Q going to pick up that kill for Jayswervy, plucked back. And oh no, quite a bit of damage coming on. The score isn't going to do you much help here. But it seems like more teammates is dashing on in as we see the Emoji trying to help what much they can. But Bologna's looking quite a bit low. But the mid has come over as well as Dragoon is looking to play. And never mind, the game time's over. All right, sweet. That was you know, some solid rotation just to present the factor, hey, we know you're here. We can maybe do some work if you try to stick around. And that's going to result in Terminator, you know, not really pressing that fight too hard. They don't want to lose anything.
Definitely smart, always better safe than sorry. Now we see Terminator still trying to get aggressive on the tower as Chiron takes a tier 1. Now Nick, oh, I don't know about that dash in by Remarkable.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's taking quite a bit of damage on his pulse, and he's already ulting up, recognizing that too. But ooh, some decent shots, almost even that third one. Could mean a lot. All right, some good damage there poured on. This could be rough, and he's recognizing that. You know, Nick's gonna say, all right, you got this one, man. Nice job. Gonna hit those snipes, respectable.
Yeah, it might have been trying to stall, give Jayswervy an answer in here. Not gonna land that stun. Uh-oh. And now Nick going back in. These ADCs are feeling good.
Recognizing that his teammate's here, Chubby Nick, and the Aegis is gonna have to be expended, but the pluck is expended and his life is expended as well. Man, I'm loving these. Like, it's unfortunate, obviously, when that happens, the turns are tabled on you, but it's fun to watch because everyone, you know, has the awareness, you know, oh, my guy's coming, and then the other person's like, my guy's coming. We'll see whose guys turns out on top. And in that case, it was the Terminators. Nicely done there, recognizing that support was on the way, and that was able to secure the kill.
Luckily enough for Terminator, the early bird doesn't get the worm as Jayswervy falls there. And I mean, if nothing else, that just speaks to how scary this fray was going to be. The Thor never even landed after he got so back plugged. He was just kind of, oh, there he is. No, he's not. So really unfortunate. Gonna have to be careful in those engages. A Pyromancer dropping low. Yeah, Umoja's not going to steal that.
Nicely done there, recognizing that not really anyone's paying attention to that side of the map and of the objectives, and another objective picked up on the side of the Terminator, so they're really just dominating the objective game. Lucas Review can be put up, but not going to be quite anyone low enough yet. Looking in the back there, CutestEevee trying to get some damage off, but Q is going to be the one to actually land another kill. Swervy sent back to the fountain. RemarkableWolf as well. Wow, in the back left side of the jungle, actually. Or Beetlejuice, that's crazy. Pulled back into the team, that's the pluck you love to see, but the leap is good. Well, not the leap, the Bologna ult, in fact, had to be expended there to preserve Akat's life. And that is going to be another team fight decided decisively in the favor of the Terminators.
And another great fight coming out from the Terminators. Last game was still pretty even going into this middle game, but now 5,000 gold ahead in 15 minutes and 8 kills ahead. I believe last game it was 1,000 and no kill difference. So definitely like to see that from them. And it's all going to be about, I know this is one thing I talk about a lot, but how can you turn this lead into something substantial? I've already got a few towers, or sorry, just one tower down. So I'd like to see them start grouping up as 5, press this gold and level advantage that they have right now.
A really good point that, yeah, the structures are going to be an important part of this. So my question to you then, in that case, KingFsher, we have the discussion of the game plan of the aggressors, but if you're on the defending side, you're Beetlejuice on the back foot. What are you looking towards as a little game plan strategy here to try to make this comeback?
Honestly, I think there's a level disadvantage everywhere. It's not one role-specific thing, so farm definitely has to be a priority, and contesting objectives. If you can get one Fury steal, one Pyro steal, it's not going to feel good just for momentum, but going to give a lot of gold, but they might be too late to the Primal Fury, and indeed they are.
Terminator is going to pop the Gold Fury too, a third major objective going the way of Terminator. It's just unfortunate, and it's really starting to spell a pretty sorry picture right now for Beetlejuice if you're a fan, because they need to make sure that they're getting something on the lines here as far as global gold, because otherwise you're not going to be able to catch up at all. What I am seeing that's a bit interesting, I'm curious for your thoughts on it. I'm seeing the Transcendence built third item there for the Thor. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I would say if they weren't so behind, not the Thor specifically, but the team right now into the game, I wouldn't hate it. Obviously, farming up is really important, so you can still get those stacks pretty easily in the jungle. But the way the game state is right now, really can't afford to. CutestEevee, the only one over here for the Fire Giant. Are they going to be able to steal? Wisely going to save life and run away.
Yeah, he decides it's not worth running my time. Oh, but he's actually going to be trying. Nice job using the CC immunal, but just wait, okay, I was about to say no way, but Beetlejuice is going to secure that, actually making sure their first big objective they land is a huge one. The snipes are coming in, nicely done there, really pressuring him out. CutestEevee is removed as a factor from this fight, and now 5 members of Fire Giant. Beetlejuice is slated to make some big plays here. But in the mid lane here, maybe a bit in over their head. You might want to get out of there, my friend, as Akat is in some bit of trouble at the moment. Yeah, easily pouring that damage. The execute range is not quite enough, sadly. Falls just out of it as soon as it begins the animation. Maybe you wanted to secure a bit more damage on him before you did that. It seems like, honestly, this is going to be a bit of a dud fight, and it seems like on the side of Beetlejuice, they're going to be wrapping up this one, recalling on back, spending what gold they have in pocket, and preparing for some big sieges.
And when we look back onto that Fire Giant take from Beetlejuice, I know we normally like to see the team ahead take the Fire Giant because it's such a powerful buff that if you're not able to do anything with it, it almost doesn't seem worth it. In the grand scheme of things, But I think that being said, it's really wise taking that opportunity away from Terminator, especially after the tier 2 tower falls in left. I think it fell because of that, but now their ability to push, it's not going to be as easy. Granted, they're still ahead, it can still happen. Just going to have to take a lot more consideration into when and where they decide to group up.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of global gold to be won if you do decide to group up. You know, every single tier 1 standing for the side of Beetlejuice to take, that's ripe for the take, and that's a lot of gold you're gonna have in pocket. You're gonna have some big power spikes as builds start to pop up. I see a beat stick locked in on the side of Thor. I'm liking that, as we talked about, that sustain needs to be kind of shut down on the side of, you know, you have Sobek, obviously the Sickening Strike, not the biggest one, but you have the Chiron's passive, Freya's natural healing as well. You want to make sure you're trying to do something to stop that, so it would be really nice to see some of that gold be put in pocket, as another objective is drop. The Terminator are once again gonna drop the Pyro. Almost gotta pick up that bomb. Come on now, that thing's useful. There it is. Some nice. Liking to see the everyone's really hunting for what gold they can win on the map right now. You see RemarkableWolf gonna try to find some of his own, but not realizing someone's on a hunt for him. Some big damage laid down with the blink on the Achilles, and that's going to probably spell his doom. The rollback not quite enough. The basics still going to get you. Nicely done there by Tegveer. Gonna pick up RemarkableWolf in an attempt to grab another tower for himself.
Really, really good gank there from Tegveer. Now, there's 2 pushing the middle tier 2 for Beetlejuice. They're not able to take it, but there's full. They have to get back for the Phoenix. They have time here. Need to be careful, though. Beetlejuice have Fire Giant, and it's a 4-on-4. This is a risky call.
Walk back, you gotta collapse on him, you gotta take advantage of that. Nice job with the Shiva pullback, Ring of Flame. The River's Rebuke's gonna trap those members, though, that are still hunting back for the Phoenix. And it's unfortunate because our friend, oh no, Chubby's trying to do some healing there in the front line. We're gonna be another pluck. Nicely done there. Gonna force the Blown ult used defensively rather than aggressively. Ball Blast's gonna do some damage here, but it's looking like everyone's honestly relatively healthy here for this fight. But of course, when you're sieging against a very untraditional fight, you're sieging against the team with the Fire Giant rather than being the team sieging with the FG. So interesting to see that. But it looks like they could have a nice big retreat call, as everyone's gonna head on back to see what they can do to regroup.
It definitely speaks to the confidence of Terminator, and they should feel confident doing really good here. But Kaizo put back in, and another fight starting up.
I'd like to see everyone collapse in one of the pluck targets, but they're not quite doing that yet. Oh, big damage to the Berserker's Barrage. The Moonstrike is not going to quite finish anyone off, so KaizoCaster gonna live again, gonna use that passive to try to use some of those herbs in the pocket, get some health back. They're gonna be just on fine, and I probably recall back to base. But honestly, Terminator doing a fantastic job, like you said, using that confidence, wasting Fire Giant tickers completely. Like, what even has that timer really contributed to? You got a couple tier 1s? Okay, you can do that during the laning phase. That's really negligible losses. They've done a great job of taking a bad situation and turning it on its head.
Definitely have, and now the Fire Jet coming up in a few seconds. We saw Beetlejuice did grab it last time. I'd imagine that's not the case. Terminator were focused on split pushing, but only a tier 2 tower stands in their way. Oh, and this is going to be the go button. Beetlejuice going to take this Gold Fury, and if I'm Terminator, everybody should be running to the Fire Giant right now.
Yep, I was about to say it. It seems like they heard you right there, but we do have one member of Beetlejuice still lurking around. Akat gonna try to make something happen. Fire Giant being brought down quickly, though. He's gonna have to do something quick. Being pulled in by Shiva. Excellent zoning there. We're approaching leaving less than a quarter health. It seems like he's not even gonna attempt. The ult in way too late. Terminator's destroyed the Fire Giant, and that is going to be huge. The collapse on Akat. It's over for him. He's out of this fight immediately. But the Anvil of Dawn gonna bring down a stun onto many of the opponents on the Terminator side. Some big damage. Nick going to pick up Jayswervy. The fight is still on. The execute not quite in enough range for that to happen. But it seems like everyone else is going to be just okay unless, oh no, Tegveer is sticking around for a bit too long for his own good. Going to be dropped by the Rommel, but KaizoCaster going to get his own kill on to the Emoja. And Nick then going to pick up his opponent carry. Nicely done there, dropping everyone except for the opponent mid laner. And this is going to be a very successful Phoenix for him.
And not to sound negative there, but Dragoon definitely should have been at that fight, but he's still pushing a tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Not getting back until just now. That should be an easy Titan. Oh, yeah.
Wait, you do still have quite a few people coming back up. This could turn on its head. Not quite enough committal. Pulling people back in. He says, yeah, you get back in on there. Oh, but Nick dropping one. ChubbyOstrich getting dropped themselves. They're going to faint in battle. This Titan, though, itself is going to go down. I was worried there for a second, man. That looked like it was about to flop. But excellent job there securing that dub for the Terminators.
It definitely looked like that could have been turned the other way. And I mean, maybe I spoke too soon about Dragoon was able to get back and stall that Titan push for a really long time, even if they weren't there to help with that Phoenix. That being said, though, game one, it felt like Terminator kind of just got one really, really strong fight and were able to win off of that. But this time, just in control through and through. Really no missteps there from the Order team.
Absolutely. I was about to say, it does seem like this was a lot more small skirmishes, just kind of ramped up slowly, some great objective play that you saw them targeting those Gold Furies and Pyromancers early, securing them without really any sweat. And that was it was a bit more of a slow burn game in this case, which, obviously worked to their success. You can't really knock it if it worked. But I do wonder, like you said, if this is the darkest timeline where if Dragoon maybe perhaps in a different alternate reality had decided to stick with his team, defend, had that maybe fight been flipped on its head? Not too sure. It's always good to have a Merlin with those big AoE attacks that can maybe do some big, big damage in those team fights. But perhaps that was the best option. It was just making the best out of a sore situation, which unfortunately did spell defeat for Beetlejuice.
Definitely. And if it feels like we are harping on some of the small things, it's because no one really messed up that game. There were no really big major missteps, and I think that's often the case as it was in Premiere last season, so I'm sure it's going to be in Godlike here. The tiniest, tiniest mistakes are going to get blown out of proportion. But that being said, Dragoon did a really good job, a lot of damage, and on the flip side, Tegveer, it sounds like we didn't talk about him as much this game on the Achilles, but still finding some massive damage and really, really good value for his team.
And Nick's impact, I mean, not all the kills were focused too much because sometimes he was just dropping fools when it was not focused on the team fight. He would just be off on his own, murking people, but he was incredibly impactful, just as we assumed, of course. Freya is a demon, and Nick proved exactly why. 7-1, massive damage on the board. Love to see it. I also got to say, ChubbyOstrich, I was loving the plucks. There's a couple missed ones in the beginning, but of course, you can't get a perfect run every single time. They were having some great ones. I would have loved to see a bit more collapsing onto them. Sometimes I saw some target issues where at times, and of course, it's going to be an issue with, as we've said before, new players all learning the chemistries, the ins and outs of each other, and that's just going to be a natural part of that. But it would have been nice to see some better target selection, everyone collapsing onto those pluck targets to ensure an easy, easy kill. But nonetheless, I was loving the peel and the plucks that I was seeing from ChubbyOstrich.
Yeah, and luckily for the players, they're going to have all season long to remedy some of those things we've discussed. With the draft still coming up, I think every single player in this lobby definitely helped their draft stock with their performances today. Really none that stood out as bad. I think everyone legitimately played good. I thought those games were going to last a lot longer than they ended up doing.
Yeah, for sure. Commendable work to all the people here in the Smite Draft League, all doing great work here, and it's going to just make for that much more interesting of a season too. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all very much, that being said, for watching. My name's Deelo. I'm joined here by KingFsher, and we will see you all in the next one. Have a good one, everyone.